My video for September the 14th, 2019 is video number 3207. The title is Brilliance and Insanity Are Often Confused. Once again, I deal with a subject that seems dominant in my mind of late, even in my dream state when aspects of my subconscious mind penetrate my conscious mind. I wrestle with the question, why does most everything seem inverted in this world? I don't have to look much further than the book of Genesis in the Bible. Supposedly, the brilliant archangel known as Lucifer became jealous of the Creator, saying, I will be like the Most High. Even if that story is mere mythology, aspects ring true to me. Do these reveal a hidden agenda? If so, whose agenda is being covered up? Perhaps all of them. Ones we know, and others we are mostly, of which we are mostly clueless. The dark agenda is confusion, which plays out in many ways. One way is language. The Tower of Babel story comes to mind. Yet even in our day and age, language is confused with English words where the common meaning is one thing and the legal meaning quite the opposite. Clearly, there are things to be considered, which is why I'm asking questions I did not ask most of my life. Who is this jealous God, and why the insecurity? The simple answer may be that it realized from the start that it was lying. Lies always have a way of coming out. Are we paying attention? It's interesting that as I was preparing that blurb, someone sent me a little short video, where three men were waiting outside of a lady's home, and she invited them to come in and get something to eat. And they asked if her husband was home, and she said, no, he's not home. And they said, well, we will not come in unless your husband is home with you. And anyway, her husband came home and the men were still outside. And she started discussing it with him. And he said, well, let's invite in wealth. And she says, well, I think it would be better if we invited in success. And their little daughter says, Mom, Dad, why don't we invite in love? And the moral of the story was all three of the men came in with love. But of course, that's not the way the world works, because we live on a planet where the most brilliant are also the most insane. They're the ones that run the financial system, which may seem like brilliance because it gives them control. It's the great deception. Wealth is a deceiver, and the deceiver uses wealth to enslave people while they can appear or think that they are free because they're getting money. I know I've said this in many videos, but the story has very significant meaning for all of us as we wrestle with the idea of fixing the world. And some say the world will never be fixed because mankind is simply incapable of making right choices without having experience, and the experience comes from making wrong choices. Well, there's levels of truth in that within the current system. But what would it be if that wasn't the system? What would it be if we lived in a system where everyone helped everyone else, and where the idea was not one-upmanship and over becoming overbearing or ruling over someone else, but actually uplifting others. The whole concept has to change. But the concept that I'm talking about is one that's present in this world. Not many people follow it. And of course, those that seem to be the most successful, the most wealthy, they obviously do not do not operate out of any loving concern for anyone other than themselves. They are blinded, completely blinded by the brilliance of their own insanity. And that's an oxymoron, I know, because insanity is very dark, but it appears in this world of inversion to be brilliant. Well, if we have a lot of money, then we can do what we want. And look at what the elite do with their wealth. And I get criticized because I'm questioning God. I'm questioning the Creator. Does the Creator have a higher plan? But it's also hidden. It's an agenda, but it's also hidden, and it's been hidden apparently for generations. But some say generations aren't real because time itself is an illusion, that everything is happening right now. That's a way of looking at it. It doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to anybody that feels as if and experiences life as if time has meaning and relevance. But of course, those that believe the other way say, no, time is totally irrelevant. And some people that have had uh, been regressed are able to become younger because of technology. There's lots of things now that are becoming available, but not to everyone. And therein is the problem. It's love would share it with everyone and want to uplift all of us. Insecurity, which is insane because everything is created from the same source, supposedly, or is it? But anyway, it's insane, this idea of competition other than mere sport. Now, sport is, as I've said in so many videos, sport is one thing, but life is not a sport. It's an experience, and it's a very real experience from the observation point of living a human life. And it doesn't matter whether we're rich or poor, black or white, religious or non-religious, all of the variables are seemingly irrelevant when you strip away all of the trimmings and stuff of those experiences. We're all questioning, or at least those of us that are reaching the point that am reaching, of wondering which are the lies, what is the truth. Insanity is only going to be overcome by telling the truth. And just as wealth and success will not satisfy the soul, love will. The little child in that video was correct. Invite in love, and ultimately wealth and success will follow. Well, I wish the world did work that way, because I and many others have tried to live our lives as truthfully and lovingly as possible. And yet, many of us are far from being wealthy and far from being successful as measured by the system in which we find ourselves. Ah, the dilemma. It's the paradoxes of our lives. Thank you for listening. Namaste.